everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Conversations with Terry and Tibet, and today I want to share a really, really interesting concept that I believe each and every one of us, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a student, whether you're employed, that we should really begin to take it seriously. And the topic for today is personal branding. So I think personal branding is really important because we live in an age where visibility is everything. So how do you stand out from the crowd? How do you stand out from your peers to become the best at who you are? If you are in business and you're an entrepreneur, how do you elevate your personal brand to be the go-to entrepreneur? If you're a student, how do you elevate your personal brand to be that student that delivers, that is disciplined, that is going to get a great job because you've elevated yourself to just the perfect place? So I'll just quickly go through it and start off what is a personal brand from some notes that I have prepared. Anyone can create a brand that is irresistible, that is dominant, and it doesn't matter what your background is, who you know, what you know, and where you even went to school. It's not that important. Well, it is to some extent, but putting in place some deliberate actions starting now will really change how your personality can just, grow and blossom, and you can own the room. And personal branding, which I must say, is not about being a celebrity. Celebrities have also grown their personal brands and are perhaps the most visible people, both globally and locally. But even within the spaces that you're in, and with the power of social media, you can really build your brand without being a celebrity. So, personal branding is about using your best assets to position yourself at the top of your career, at the top of your business, and of course, in your industry or sector. Let's look at some of the greatest personal brands that we have seen through the years. Names like Oprah, names like Steve Jobs, names like Richard Branson, who I watched yesterday on Shark Tank, and I was so excited to see him. Now, these are names, if you look at Oprah, and her story has been told timeless times, from a disadvantaged society where if you were black, you were not supposed to grow above a certain economic level. But look at what she is today. And there was a time in the world where she was the world's richest woman. And she built her personal brand through being passionate about what she is, being deliberate and strategic about the things that she has done through the years. She remains motivated, she remains disciplined, and she most importantly remains consistent. And these are things that you as an individual can begin to grow into your personal brand so that it becomes a daily thing. Not just at New Year's when you're writing your resolutions, not after that incredible meeting with the girls or Shama or, men's conference or whatever it is they call it, and you come out with a plan. But you can really integrate some of these things into your daily life such that your brand becomes so dominant and so powerful that you'll just be calling the right things your way, whether it is a new job, whether it is a career growth, whether it is extra and new business. Let's see how you can do it. So you're able, meaning you have the knowledge, you have the skills, but are you visible? I've said before, and I picked this up somewhere from a book I read a long time ago, that we're living in a time where visibility is more important than ability. You might be the best at whatever it is that you do, but are you visible? Do people know about you? And how can you then, knowing that, create more visibility for yourself and in all levels and all places you may be, either in life or in your career? What tools and what strategies can you use to start building your personal brand? Or if you have already started building it, how else can you push it a little bit more? And then how can you use social media, traditional media, to elevate your brand? So where do you begin? Number one, and I hope you have a pen and paper with you. If not, just take a quick pause, run back, pick a paper and a pen, and write down, Ask three people to write down three things that describe you. Let them be as honest as possible. This could be, maybe you could pick somebody from your social circles, one. The other person could be somebody within your organization. And the third person could be somebody you look up to. And let them, ask them to be as genuine as they can. And then number two, write down some five things that you want to define your brand. What do you want to be known for? Write them down, those 5 points, and then write down what you think is a personal tagline. You know all these taglines of multinational brands, and you can look those up perhaps for inspiration. But you now need to build your own personal tagline, which you can use to define your social media handles. And it can just be your go-to thing that constantly reminds you that that's me, that's where I want to my brand to get. And then write down what you think it will take to get you to where you want to be as a brand. For instance, might you need to take a course? Is that course maybe even available online? It could be anything. It could be on entrepreneurship. It could be on flower decoration. It could be on cooking. It could be really anything. So, what are some of the things that you need to do to enable you to build your brand? It could be building a skill. It could be acquiring knowledge. It could be building the right networks. It could be getting a mentor. It could be getting a business coach. It could be so much. So just identify some of the things that you think you need that will help you begin to elevate your brand, and write them down. And once you've done that, then use that as a guide to break it down into tasks. You can break it down to a daily task, a weekly task, a monthly task, and even a yearly task. For instance, you can say, this week I'll start putting together articles and releasing them every week on a topic that I want to be identified with. If you're in HR, for example, or if you're in accounting or taxing or cooking or anything, use your knowledge and your skills to put together an article that you can then post on your social media platforms of your choice. It could be LinkedIn, it could be Facebook, and just begin to share knowledge, because something that you're passionate about is something that you're deliberate in finding knowledge about. And you'll find out that with time you begin to become the authority in that subject. But it takes consistency, it takes discipline, and it takes a real need to want to grow yourself, and a personal motivation as well. So, write those down and say, every week I'll do this, every month I'll do this, every 3 months, every quarter or so, I'll attend a networking event. And now that we're going through this COVID-19 pandemic, of course, it's not possible to attend a networking event, but there's so much happening out there in terms of Zoom meetings, which are cross industry, cross sector, that you can be part of. But one quick tip is read up on it before, find one or two questions that you can prepare before, and once you're in there, listen, engage, and make sure your voice is heard. Do not just be the quiet person who's quietly listening. Find some questions to ask, some points to add in, which means you must have done your research before. And that's how you begin to build your brand. And then write down a personal tagline that defines you as a brand. When you go to companies, organizations, most of them would have a tagline, a vision, mission, etc. So now begin to think, what's my vision? Where do I really want, what do I really want people to know about me when I leave? What's my legacy? What's my mission in this world? What was I put here to do? And it takes a lot of introspection and a lot of honesty and a lot of authenticity. But just sit down and begin to think over that and write them down. This is my tagline. This is my vision statement. This is my mission statement. When I was a journalist, I did write down one of the taglines that I took as my vision, and I'll just try to find it, I think, on my Twitter. But yes, once you define your personal tagline, it really helps you to see that you're continuously doing things that align with where you want to go and with where you want to do. I can't seem to find my personal tagline, but I'll see if I can get to it later. But it basically was about, as a business journalist, my vision is to use my knowledge and my skills as a business journalist to create stories that to do stories that create an impact in Africa. Basically doing stories, but at the end of the day, I want to know, has my business story, because as a business journalist, made an impact in the lives of people, which is why I've always enjoyed um, interviewing entrepreneurs, because I know they will inspire somebody to change something, or CEOs, because you learn to see things from a different perspective. So I try with every interview that I do, will it make an impact in the life of somebody else? So your personal tagline should act as your vision and mission statement, and then that will guide your personal strategy. Values. What are your values? And one of the biggest critical points in building a personal brand is making sure that your reputation is credible. And how you can do that is to make sure that you have your values intact. Research about some of the values that you think embody your personality and who you are. And I could tell you some of the ones that I personally look at and have roped into my life. One is ambition. I've always been a very ambitious person, but just reading it and reminding myself that one of my values is ambition, it keeps me on track. Integrity is one of them as well, and that comes really, really higher. Competency and responsibility. These are values that you can begin to purposely instill them into your daily life. If you wake up knowing I am an ambitious person, I will always be an ambitious person. I want to keep my ambition at the top. And when you wake up and you begin to instill it in your life, integrity, I will not steal, I will not lie, I will not bribe, and etc. And you begin to, to nurture that into your daily life, and it becomes your life. Competency as well. Everything that I put my hands on, I will ensure to do the best. And sometimes, of course, we're demotivated. Everything is not running great, and we do half-baked things. If you insist on staying with your values, you'll make sure that if I said I am a competent person, then my work will reflect that competency. Responsibility is one of mine as well. I want to be a responsible person, and um, you are who you are wherever you are. If you have said you're a responsible person or you're a person of integrity, we should be able to see that, and people should be able to see that, whether you're in your house, whether you're at work, whether you're in the vegetable market, or in a matatu, or in wherever it is that you are in. Let those values speak of you. Remember, it is said that you are who you are when nobody is watching. All right, so just a few tips on and some of the things that you do. I hope you still have your pen and your paper. One, write a good bio of yourself. Write a general one, go through it, edify it, keep writing, edit, and make sure that the one you're finally putting onto either your LinkedIn or your Twitter or Facebook is a really well written bio. Two, take a professional photograph. I mean, it is so incredibly important to have a professional photograph out there. I mean, now with phones, it's a little easy to even get really good quality photos, but there's some studios out there that will do a good touch up on your pictures and give you such amazing pictures that you can use for your professional profiles, especially. Another one is look for speaking opportunities. I know this is a difficult one. Many people, myself included, really I panic when I'm supposed to speak somewhere. Even though I have done it for a long time, I still get butterflies, no matter how much I'm prepared for it. So when you find out that there's something happening, and especially now with all these WhatsApp groups, there's always an opportunity to speak somewhere. With all the Zoom meetings, all that's happening online, within your industry, offer yourself up to contribute, to be a panelist or to be a speaker. Offer yourself, and that's how you begin to build yourself as a thought leader, in the space that you operate in, which is a really important part, because in building a personal brand, people should be able to say, if I want to get somebody to speak about hairdressing or manufacturing of ABC, or, uh, startup funding, etc., make sure you build your brand into such a place where if there's a topic that's mentioned, they already know who they can call. And it could be anything that you're interested in. Just be deliberate in building that. And a great way, as I was saying, is looking for speaking opportunities, because then everybody's listening to you. All right. Another one is contribute to a column or a newspaper or a blog, and or your own Facebook page. And as I mentioned before, you already have the skills, you already have the knowledge. You can do some extra research and say every week, because a week is quite consistent. It gives you time to plan ahead. You can write over the next 10 weeks, I'm going to write 10 different articles. These are the topics. Prepare ahead of time so that next week I'm writing about this, the other week I'm writing about this. Do your research well. It doesn't have to be an incredibly long article, but it will begin to help you position and elevate your personal brand. And you can even post that on your Facebook and just get people to comment and share. And LinkedIn as well is a really, really great avenue for that. For those who it may apply, you can create your own personal website or a blog. Medium.com also really offers a great platform to grow your brand if you want to contribute more in a literary way. So you could open a Medium account. Another thing that we don't really focus on much is who's talking about you and some of the matters that interest you. And find out by subscribing to Google Alerts when you've started talking about yourself and trying to elevate your brand. Find out the people that I'm interested in. What are they doing? What are they talking? My competition. What are they doing? What are they talking? So just set up Google Alerts and be part of that conversation, and use the advantage of knowing what others are doing to also keep you in check. First impressions. They say you can never get a second chance as first impressions, and there's no better way of putting it. Pay attention to how you look. Take an extra moment with your dressing, and if you're a lady, with your makeup as well. If you do wear makeup, people pay more attention to people who dress well. No matter how much we might want to deny it, it is the truth. You appear more professional, and you also appear more believable. Keep your hair clean and neat. Yeah, it goes without saying. Pay attention to body odor. Always wear a deodorant. Always wear a deodorant. You just never know. Brush your teeth. That goes without saying. And invest in a good cologne or a perfume where you can. It just gives that extra feel with first impressions. For men, keep your professional look as well. I know there was a time where black was the color of the professional space, but now really with all these happy socks and everything, just carry your style and own it. Just be neat. Some of the visibility strategies that I'd like to share with you. One is network. Attend cocktail dinners as well after COVID. For now, as I'd mentioned before, attend Zoom meetings that are within your industry and like-minded places that you want to be involved in. And thankfully, they're free. So you can really begin to network with people within your space. Another important one is you must join a professional organization. No matter what industry you're in, all these different industries usually would have a professional organization. Just find out what it takes to be a member and join and be part of it and engage, and also use that to network. Another one, be a mentor. We always are very quick to find people to mentor, but we also have a position of leadership as somebody who wants to grow. And there's somebody behind you who just needs that holding hand, or hand to hold them, or hand holding. So be that person. Not only will you be giving back, but you will also incredibly grow yourself as a person in terms of just that discipline of helping somebody else grow, doing your research because you're helping somebody else to learn more. So in many ways you also begin to grow. Practice introducing yourself until you're comfortable with it. And this one is, I always say, write it down. Say it to yourself, say it to somebody you live with, say it to a friend over and over again until you're super, super comfortable with it. And then start practicing with strangers that you meet anywhere. But make sure your introduction not sound, over professional, because many times it's, hi, I'm so and so, this is what I do. Just ensure that you don't leave out some of the most important things, because you never know who you might be meeting. One which I really, really like: have lunch or coffee with at least one influential person every month. First of all, lunch is on you, you're the one paying. But find somebody who can motivate you, can mentor you, can offer you some, interesting solutions, or can just inspire you within your circles, and somebody you look up to. So just, reach out to them and say, hey, I'd like to buy you lunch. And you just never know, some of these relationships and the networks that you grow in that way really, really come back and help not just you, but also you'll find ways in which you can add value to the person that you're meeting. Some quick social media strategies: create a professional Twitter and Facebook page. Just go back and look at, what's my Twitter name, what's my Facebook name, what's my LinkedIn name. At least LinkedIn, I see that a lot of people keep it a lot more professional. Twitter, depending on what you're doing on the platform. Facebook, depending on what you're doing on the platform. It's incredibly important to make sure that your profile, especially if it's public, has a very professional feel to it. So if you're called Lucky Fingers 23, for instance, and you're trying to sell, some great things that you've come up with on your page, it might not be seen as incredibly credible if you're trying, unless that's the name of the business. And then revamp your LinkedIn profile. And I know that many of us, sometimes it gets so overwhelming and you're not able to do that. But now that you're listening to me, just take your time, go look at your LinkedIn profile, and just sit down and give it time and give it a proper revamp. Use the right words. Make sure you're putting your best foot forward. Really brag about some of the things that you've done. We're sometimes too shy and coy, but who else can speak about you if not you, in the best way possible? Another one: keep your updates professional. That is especially on LinkedIn and Twitter as well. Be resourceful. Share articles and things that you've read that you think will be beneficial to other people. And you'll find that people will be constantly coming to check, oh, what has she said today? What has he said today? Who is she reading? What books is she reading? So just, share some of the things that you think will be able to help somebody else along the way. Another one: engage followers on issues that they can identify with. Ask questions, provoke, engage. So if there's a hashtag around an issue that you're involved in, or it's in the same industry, put your voice in. Find out what's happening globally. Do some benchmarking within. Just add in your voice, but with solutions and with alternative thinking as well on particular issues, and that will begin to raise your brand as a thought leader. Follow people who you consider successful and engage them strategically. And that one is pretty simple. With LinkedIn, with Facebook, with Twitter, it's easy to reach anybody. But you have to have set the right tone, you have to be as professional as possible for them to begin to notice you and actually begin to engage with you. Another one, and a very, very important one, is to create a professional email address. Whether you have your own organization one, sometimes you need to send stuff through Gmail, or nobody uses much of the others anymore. But make sure that the personal Gmail address, I'll use Gmail for example, has to be very professional. Go out there, rejig it, because many of us got email addresses just out of high school at the age of 18, and it was always something not well thought through. So if you do not have a professional Gmail address, just go back and make sure that you get a new one. All right, and as I wind up, I just want to recommend some good readings that really helped me in putting also some of these notes together, in as well as just keep me constantly motivated in terms of building my brand. One is The Brand Within by Damon John. Is the founder of Fubu and also a Shack on Shark Tank. There's a book called Career Guide for Ambitious Women. It's written by Heather McGregor, whose pen name is Mrs. Money Penny. Then there's A Brand Called You, The Brand Called You by Peter Montoya, and other magazines that I continue to really, really enjoy. There's Success Magazine, there's Entrepreneur Magazine, and of course the Harvard Business Review, which you can, and all of this you can find online as well. I'll put some of them on the comments section, as well as some of the other books that I would like to recommend. So I'll end it there for now by saying you were designed to stand out from the crowd. Thank you so much for watching Conversations with Terry Ann. Remember to subscribe, share, because I'm hoping that this will also help somebody else out there begin to grow their personal brand. Thank you, and see you next week.